Oh, good morning, y'all. We are going to replace my neighbor's Garmin with the Lowrance GPS fish finder because he wants the Florida Marine tracks, and Garmin does not run that. So he's got him a new unit, and we are going to install it today. I'll bring you all along, kind of show you what we got to do that. Said it's usually not a big deal, but getting the transducer cord pulled through the boat, that's usually the worst part of it. So we'll bring y'all back in a second. I'm fixing to get a few things I need. Need a piece of mule tape and some electrical tape. That way we can tape the mule tape to the old transducer cord when we pull it out, which will pull the mule tape through, and that'll give us something to pull the new transducer wire in. If your transducer doesn't work, or if it's bad, you don't plan on keeping it, you can just cut the cord and pull the new transducer cord through with it. But his unit works, so we're saving it all. Bring it back in a few minutes. What you doing, man?
Cleaned off a little bit. Take that plate off. Then we'll turn the boat around.
Gotta get our transducer cord ran through that pipe, back up to that hole. Was generally your toughest part, but in this one it looks like it's gonna be pretty easy. A little short boat, so not too far to have to try to pull that cord through. Cool. All right, we'll bring y'all back in a few minutes. All right, y'all. So we've used a piece of mule tape to connect to the old transducer line. We pulled it back, and then we taped the new transducer cord to the end of the mule tape. We pulled it back up through. Got it ran up through the hole where it comes up here in the dash. Now, we're going to turn this boat around here in a few minutes, put it back on the lift where we can get to the mount the transducer from the dock there. You got your power cord, and then don't forget inside your kit, they send you the little fusible link. It's got the fuse on it. So that's what we're fixing to hook up now. Got our little waterproof fittings, heat shrink. I've got one on the hot, goes down to the little ground bar, and now I got to put our fuse link in here for the hot. We'll get this wire strip back here. We got our adapter. We're gonna get our little waterproof coupling, if you want to call it that. Get that crimped on here. All right. Now before you put this on, that's a pretty good size fuse. Our hole through the dash and in the console is not big enough for that to go through. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and run this. We're going to go ahead and drop this down through the hole in the dash. Lewis, if you'll stick that through. Now this boat's got a folding seat on the front, or folding back cushion, not a seat, but so you can get to the hole that comes through down here. I don't know if y'all can see that up there. Is it going? Yeah, just pull it all the way down, because I'm going to pull the slack out the front where I can get these connected here. All right. So there's our wires. Get up here where you can get to it. So I got this pulled up here where I can get my hands on it easier. Don't have to be laying on the floor. All right. Now we're going to put our fuse link in right there. Get that grip down good. All right. So we got our fuse tied onto our power wire. And then we get us one of these little eye connectors. So then depending on where you're mounting this to, like I said, he's got a hot bar in here. It's got the little screws. So we're using these little eyelets. Good. And we'll just heat these up. Shrink that down. Same with your little coupler. The wind don't ever want to blow until you're doing this. Okay. Sand that's getting in my ears. And spray a little off on me. Alright, y'all. I'll show y'all this here. There ain't gonna be enough room for me and y'all at the same time, but you can see the little hot bar. So that's where our red wire will hook to, and then this is your ground bar on the side of it, and our ground will hook to that, and this thing will be hot, ready for a machine here shortly. So I'm gonna get these hooked up and we'll bring y'all back in a minute. All right, y'all, so we're just doing this little test fit here, make sure we got it where we want it. Everything looks good. All right, y'all, so we're gonna drill us a pilot hole in here for our screws, and what we did was, of course, always check, make sure your bit's not too big before you drill it, and your screws won't grab. So we've already made sure of that. And also double check underneath, make sure you're not drilling down through anything electrical or fuel lines.
I'm gonna go ahead. I think I can take that thing off. Somebody can't have all the fun.
All right.
I'll take care of that.
I mean, all right. It was convenient to have a walkway in front of his boat. All right, y'all. So we got the boat up on the lift backwards, so we can sit down right here on the dock and get to our transducer. So that's what we're gonna work on now. We're gonna get that one off. So anyway, his high-speed pickup is located there on the starboard side, and they mounted the transducer on the port side. So our transducer cord, of course, is running, is screwed in several places in behind the engine on the transom, which definitely made it a little bit more of an inconvenience, but we're going to get it anyway. It just takes a little bit of time getting all that loose and getting the 5200 back in all the brackets to put it back together, which we'll do here shortly. And so we're going to finish getting the transducer off here, make sure we get took my knife and scraped off any of the old putty and stuff that was on there, so we can get it nice and flat and seal it back up again. So this is the transducer, 3-in-1. This is your brackets right here. Now this bracket goes on the back of the boat, and I'm pretty sure you can run this either way, kind of just depending on where your old holes are in your boat, so you can kind of get it to match up. And then this plate, it's got the curve spot and the gap and the slit in it right here for your cord. So this goes in just like that. See how it's curved down here. Your cord comes up through there, and then they send you the hardware. Line your little holes up in the back, put your screws in. And your screws that go in through this plate, they've got the small little lock washers that go on there. Do not forget those. So you want to make sure that you get those lock washers on this so it gets good and tight and won't come loose. We'll pull the wire up like that. And we're going to mount this just like that right there. That way we've got because the holes for the old transducer is up from the bottom of the boat a little way, so we should be able to make this work. Put that in the bottom holes. Now, we're doing it this way because, of course, we're hanging over the water. So if we had had this boat on the trailer, we would have mounted that bracket first, and then you still have to make sure you hang your transducer down through the center of that bracket before you mount your plate that actually holds your transducer, so that your cord drops down through there like it's supposed to. But if you're doing this over the water, highly recommend you putting this together just like you're seeing here in the boat. You have to get those nuts in that between that transducer and that bracket, and there's not a whole lot of room, and so it's very easy to drop those if you're doing this over the water. So I'm going to go ahead and put all this together, and then I will mount the transducer and the bracket all at the same time when we get ready. We're just going to snug this up. We can adjust it.
Adjust it.
We can adjust it when we get it.
Check those holes will match up.
I hadn't yet, but we fixed to find out.
Yeah. Well, no, solve that problem pretty quick.
Yep.
I'm looking something kind of sprinkle a little bit. Here's the blade.
All right, y'all. Let's see if we can get this on the back of the boat. All right, so what you're going to see us do right here is I'm going to hand that transducer. Like I said, we've got it ran down through the back of the transom where all the control wires and stuff come out of. You don't want to forget before you pull that up to your dashboard to make sure you start out at where the engine is and where all the control wires come through. That's where you start with the transducer cord as you're getting ready to pull it up to the dash, because that transducer will not fit through those, and you definitely want to be sure that you start at the very back of the boat and drop that transducer cord through the holes in that direction, so you don't end up not being able to get that transducer out through the hole that comes up in the transom. So we're pulling that cord out to make sure it's got no twist in it, because of the biggest thing with what we've got here is that transducer does have to go to the port side, and we want that cord to lay nice and flat against the transom when we put it back together. So make sure you get all the twist out of it at this point. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, so what we're going to discuss right here is the holes were still a little too high up on the transom from his old mount. This thing, of course, your transducer should be setting flush with the bottom of the boat, and we were up maybe a 1/4 inch. Of course, I mean, this is a 3-in-1 transducer. He literally runs about the deepest he goes is sometimes scalloping. His side scan and structure scan, none of that is important to him. So he decided that let's just go ahead and mount it in the old hole so we don't have to drill any new ones. So that's what we're going to do here, because he's hardly ever in any water deeper than 5 foot anyway. So if he's reading bottom, he's just easing around looking at the different depths in these shallow water holes. So he should be in good shape.
Is it, how do you adjust that height of it? Or is that where it is right there? It looks like it's
We got it as low as possible. You know what I mean?
It's
So
level, so it's level. It looks like it's kicked, it's straight. Looks like it's down a little, pointing down. But
yeah, it is. We'll
oh, you can adjust it there, tighten up.
yeah,
oh,
and then
see.
we'll
Oh, okay, you tighten those.
Yeah,
oh,
so
gotcha.
we're trying to match it with the angle of the boat.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good. Where should get up? What do you think? You see it there?
Yeah. I think that's okay.
Like I said, it should be running with the pitch of the bottom. No, we're just trying to line that transducer up with the bottom of the boat. You can use a 4-foot level if you want to get it perfect, just to lay the majority of the level back under the boat and set your transducer elevation with that. But I think we've got it pretty close. All right, so we got our transducer mounted. Now we've got to get the transducer cord mounted back around the transom, and that's a tunnel hole. It's pretty deep back in there, and yeah, I mean, it was definitely had to stretch out there, trying not to drop screws and get 5200 in there and get those wire clamps back on. I think if I'd have paid attention to that, I might have taken the 30 minutes to put that boat on a trailer. Yeah, it was, I mean, it wasn't bad, but definitely wasn't the easiest thing to do. Get all that as nice and tight and straight as we wanted it. All right, y'all, so that's the transducer. We got the wire ran back underneath the jack plate. Now we need to pull all our slack back in this back box and get everything zip tied up. All right, so at this point, we're just going to take our time and zip tie everything up nice and neat and cut all the tag ends off and wrap this install up. Other than taking his unit under the house out of these sand gnats and get it programmed with the FMT chip.
Turn the boat around.
I would leave it sit here and let that 5200 set up.
But you're all hooked up under there.
Yeah, everything's hooked up. All we need to do. Cool. All right, we're gonna go up here to the under the house, away from the sand gnats, and program this Florida Marine tracks in this unit.
Let's sit over here and see what's going on.
Yeah, you can just drag it. Pull that shit on. Get our TV turned on there.
Oh, the TV, okay.
There you go, that's good.
Good?
Yep. All right, so I got a AC to DC converter.
We're gonna get my phone.
And I've got my spare power cord so that we can power his unit up under the house here out of the sand gnats to get his programmed. And then also, I got it so that if I want to do any uploading or updating, I can take it off my boat and I can go get my recliner
They got a
and
new
fool with it.
upgrade
You know what I
coming
mean?
out in 2026.
Oh yeah.
I hope this one, I'm sure this one's good. They do it it's like, it's free the first time. After that, it's like $100 and something. I think it's almost $600 time to add shipping.
Well, I haven't even updated mine. I've had it for several years now.
You probably don't need to much.
I don't know.
Well,
If there's an update on it, I want it.
oh yeah, they do.
If there's information
There is.
that I want.
Well, I don't know if it's here. Here it is. Some instructions here. What it would work.
Yeah. You might as well just leave them alone. We go straight to YouTube. All right, y'all. So that's it. Like I said, I didn't fool with showing y'all the footage there on TV, but that's how we set it up. Like I said, it's a whole lot easier just to get the machine up here, sit down, get in front of YouTube. He goes right through it step by step, set it up, and that's it.
Well,
So it's got all the 3D imaging and all the nasty spots marked with skull and crossbones and oyster bars laid out. But that's it. So anyway, hope that helped. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us and getting this thing dialed in. So we will see y'all in the next one. And that's it.